We have been playing this month with a theme that Deepak Chopra's book was written from called Power, Freedom, and Grace. And this is our final Sunday of the July. Hello. And our today's topic, I thought we would play with this idea of what is a paradigm. The synonyms for a paradigm are example, model, pattern, and prototype. The definition of a paradigm is, in the psychology of science, a generally accepted model of how ideas relate to one another, forming conceptual framework within which scientific research is carried out. And so we, individually, each of us, create our own paradigms on a daily basis, all the time. Many times, this is done unconsciously, not really with a conscious intention, but we do absolutely bring our ideas and our relationship one to another in life all the time. What is your paradigm of life? Do you have it? Do you have an idea of what life is about for you? What is your concept of life? Is it a struggle? Is it a dog-eat-dog world? I'm clawing to get ahead. If only I could do more. Do you remember those times when you were lied to? When they just did you wrong? When you were hurt, when you were down, when you were disappointed. We've all had those experiences, have we not? Then we have those experiences in this life where, hey, guess what? It's fantastic. Everything is amazing. I'm on top of the world. Life couldn't get any better. How fabulous is this? It's glorious. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to take on the world. Any of you can relate to those experiences? So what makes the difference? What makes the difference? We have those, both of those. Well, we could say that, well, it kind of depends on what is happening in my life. If I just won the lottery, hey, yay! If I just got the extra tax bill that I forgot to get and didn't get all my taxes paid, darn. So we are at this whim, at the waves and the wind that comes and goes in our life, of what happens to me I'm happy about, and if this happens to me I'm not happy about. Is that the way life works? For many people. For many people, that's the way life works. What we are in this room cognizant of, though, is that there's more to it than that. We are not at the whim of what is happening to us from outside sources. We are this infinite divine energy, this source that nothing can hold it back. Infinite, inexhaustible. That is our true identity. And we are also a human. We have this finite body that this infinite spirit is housed in. So we get to play with both of those things, with our spirituality, with this infinite energy, and seeing with the eyes, hearing with the ears of what's going on around us. In the book, he talks about that we can have a perception, a paradigm of object referred. The object referred sense is the fact that, oh, I'm looking at you, I'm seeing this, I'm knowing this is happening, yes, I got the bill for the extra taxes. That's object referred. Or we can identify with self-referred. We have those choices. And the self-referred individual looks to themselves within, knows that what I am, this I am of me, is greater than anything that is on the outside of me. We have the opportunity to be self-referred at every moment. And when we do that, what happens? The object, the circumstance, the effect out here changes. We see that. And what that does is recognize, it gives us this indication that, you know what? There is something that I can tap into within me that can direct my life. Rumi was asked the question, "Who are you?" And Rumi replied, "I do not know who I am. I am an astounding, lucid confusion. If you label me and define me, you will starve yourself of yourself. If you box me down with labels and definitions, that box will be your coffin. I am your own voice echoing off the wall of God." That is Rumi. Deepak said, "The world of ego, object referred, is time-bound, temporary, fearful, self-centered, self-absorbed, and attached to the known. It clings to pleasure and recoils from pain. The world of spirit is free of the past and the future, whole, joyful, open, and accessible to all. The world of spirit is the world of community, insight, and love. The world of spirit is the source of all power." Which one makes you feel better? You like that ego energy? Fearful? Wondering what's going to happen? Tight? We can change our paradigm. We can shift into seeing what we are, the truth of what we are, as this infinite, unlimited spirit. He talks in the book about there being a sixth state of consciousness. The sixth state of consciousness, he says, is the divine consciousness, where we see and feel the spirit in everything. Then he says it even can go beyond that into the seventh state of consciousness, which is where we feel the unity or the oneness with all. That is the seventh state of consciousness. He talks about this, the Vedic expression. It says, "I am not in the world is in me. I am not in the body is in me. I am not in the mind is in me. Body, mind, and world happen to me as I curve back within myself and create them." Does that give you like a feeling of like grand, bigness, vastness? We are so much more than these finite beings. You know, one of the chapters in the book I think is all of us can relate to it. One of the chapters in the book talks about what happens to me when I die. There's an awful lot of speculation about what's going to happen to me when I die. There's a lot of religions. There's a lot of spiritual paths that try to teach and tell you, you better do this or you know where you're going. But if you do this, hey, it's going to be great. What we want to recognize is that this life is eternal. It never began. It will never end. We are in and of the midst of it at every moment. And yet, what happens in this life experience is the fact that in order to have something new created, something new experienced, there has to be, conversely, a time of release, a time of something dying, something letting go. And so if we get accustomed to our lives being that way, whatever happens at the last breath that we take in this life form, what we're recognizing is if I'm dying every moment to the moment before, what happens? I'm still here. When we recognize that what we are these eternal beings, and that yes, I'm experiencing and I'm playing with and I'm acknowledging that I am dying every day. I'm used to it. I've gone through death so many times it's not even funny. And look what happened. Here I am, yes. We can be victorious over death because we do it all the time. Isaiah 43, chapter 43, verse 18 through 19 said, "Do not call to mind the former things, or ponder things of the past. Behold, I will do something new. Now it will spring forth. Will you not be aware of it? I will even make a roadway in the wilderness, rivers in the desert." Make a paradigm shift as to what you are seeing, what you are experiencing, what is before you. Do you want to keep rehashing what happened yesterday and how awful it was? And darn it, if that only hadn't have happened, if that person hadn't have said that thing, if I hadn't have had that accident, if my car wouldn't start, if that's object referred. And you will get more of it. We're here to remember the scope of our being, this vastness that we are, to make that paradigm shift, that I am self-referred, that I can make and set my intention for the way my life wants to be run. No matter what happens. And it's going to happen at every single moment. So we want to let go, let go, let go of the past. Eckhart Tolle said, "Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your life." I believe that we are living in and of and as this perfect, beautiful, pristine power that is love, that is creativity, that is expressing itself all the time beyond measure, and it is the I. It is the I of each of us. And if you go back to the first sentence that Eckhart Tolle said, when he said, "And accept each moment as if you had chosen it," well, guess what? The I of you did. The I of you did choose this moment and this moment. There is nothing that is going against your grain. There is nothing that is doing something to you. The I of you is placing you right now at every moment in your right and perfect place. And you have the capability, you have the wherewithal, you have the gumption to be able to handle it. You will give yourself the opportunity to pull yourself through whatever it is that's happening. Mother Teresa, we're so familiar with her quote. "I know God will not give me anything that I can't handle. I just wish he wouldn't trust me so much." We recognize that we trust ourselves. that we can trust this infinite being that is in us, this I of us, to place us exactly right in the perfect place that we need to be at that moment in time. We have within us everything that will bring us up and through any fear that our ego is trying to tell us that we're separate of, that we're limited of. We are not. We are a divine, infinite creation that is continually discovering more of ourselves. Oh, good. I see some smiles going on there. We are able to approach life and handle life and be life in an infinite way. The Swami Vivekananda, is that how you say that? Yeah, Swami Vivekananda. Come out into the broad open light of day. Come out from the little narrow paths. For how can the infinite soul rest content to live and die in small ruts? Come out into the universe of light. Everything in the universe is yours. Stretch out your arms and embrace it with love. Feel that love that is you, totally, fully, freely. Know that wherever you go, whatever eyes you cast upon, that love is looking back at you. That sweetness that you are is coming back at you every moment. You know, it's interesting how I get into these moods of working with myself, playing with what's going on in my life. And I have, though, a regime. I have a discipline that I do every day as I get up. First thing I do is go to my little chair where I meditate, and I pull out all my different individual readings that I want to get myself inspired for the day with. And this morning, I was amazed at the one that was in the Daily Word. Daily Word is one of my choices. And it says, "My story. I am divinely inspired to create and live a full, abundant life. I am the author of my story. No matter what happens, I choose the meaning I give to the events in my life. I see myself through divine perception as a spiritual victor and overcomer, and not as a victim of life's circumstances. Inspired by Spirit, I discover deeper understanding and new gifts in myself as I move through challenges. No part of my story limits the adventure of this day. There are no mistakes or wounds of the past that keep me from living freely and fully now. I forgive myself and others the errors that occur when we fall short of being our best selves. We are all doing the best we can in this moment. I am free to love, to laugh, and to freely live the abundant life I am divinely inspired to create." And from John 10:10, "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Have it abundantly. I just felt that reading this morning so resonated with what I wanted to share. We all have the opportunity to create our own story, our own paradigm, and we will. That's what being human is all about. Oh my gosh, you could check about this, or oh my gosh, look at this. Feel and know that life is amazing, that you are up for it. You can rewrite your story. You don't have to keep telling the same one. I love it. Who was it? I know someone that when you approach someone, they'll say, "How are you doing?" Many times that's what the common thing is. "How are you doing?" I loved what one person kept saying all the time, says, "What's the good news?" You see how he's setting the intention, planting the seed? What is the good news? Because if I just come up to you and I say, "Oh, how are you doing?" I might be ready to be blasted with, oh my God. But what's the good news? It puts you in a whole different mindset. That is what this life is about, is the good news. That we have this life that is, we're living eternally. Let it keep dying, keep dying, keep dying. It's okay. You got it handled. You've been there, done that. No worries. No worries about the future. Wherever you're going to be there. And it's going to be great. Because your infinite self is there. With you, of you, as you, in you, through you. Infinite love. So I would like you this week to make a paradigm shift. I want you to say to yourself, what is the good news? If somebody were to ask me that, what would I be prepared to say? What's my homework here about knowing what am I going to say that's the good news today? And it might be just something as simple as my car started. Or when my car didn't start the other night after the wedding, we got it jumped. I called AAA the next morning, Sunday morning, supposed to be here. AAA came out. Yep, it's your battery. Here, let's swap it out. Thank you, God. Life does not have to be a drama. Life can be a beautiful romance where you are in love with no matter what is going on. As you love, you receive. As you receive, that love grows and grows and grows and brings you into more of this expression, this self-expression that you are. Let it be. I was thinking about singing the song this morning, and I was going to grab the words to it, and I didn't do that. Let me see if I can remember it. I love myself the way I am, for I can clearly see that all the things I ever done, so there's nothing I need to change. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself, I'm all over in the scale, just the way I am. I want to do the third verse though. I love myself as I am. I love me, and there's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. Be beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Accept it, be it, know it, do it, and so it is. I love you.